Let's talk about the Ninja Turtles. I've tried to write a lot of scripts for this video, and they all felt kind of illegitimate. They felt more like I was trying to be a YouTuber than I was talking about something that I passionately care about. I care about the Ninja Turtles. I feel like the best way to exemplify that is to, off the cuff, describe how much these characters mean to me. Ever since I was a kid, I grew up with a VHS player with the original three Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movies, the ones with the suits, the 80s cartoon. I have watched it so many times. When I picture pizza in my head, I picture that gooey one-color cheese that they had back in that show. I was born in 2004, so in 2007, when the animated movie came out, I thought it was the coolest thing in the world.
TMNT, the video game, rated everyone 10 and up.
Funnily enough, I think what really put that in my head was the most recent movie, Mutant Mayhem. Seeing these characters that I've loved for so long, and seeing these characters who I've known to be this way for so long recontextualized in a way that will make them appeal better to younger audiences, it was great. It was amazing. I'm happy for kids who are growing up now, and this is their Ninja Turtles are the ones that say the TikTok things. This is an official piece of merchandise, by the way. This is something you can buy at stores, Hot Topic or whatever. I had this bit where I was gonna wear it, but it was really uncomfortable and overly form-fitting. But they love their Naruto collabs, and I do too. These characters are very important to me, and I have strong opinions about the ways that they've been portrayed. Around December of 2023, me and my friend Blazer VA decided to marathon all 9 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movies, and this has been a long time coming for me, but I am here to rank them.
Yes, dudes and dudettes, Major League Butt Kicking is back in town. Oh yeah!
Okay, our first movie to talk about is the first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie, the costume one from 1990, where they look really funny. This movie is really funny. I could probably just play a clip reel of every funny thing that happens in the movie, because there's a lot of funny things that happen in the movie. But that's definitely on purpose, and it works to its benefit because this movie is hilarious. I love it. There's multiple scenes where Casey hits a guy with a stick or whatever, and they go flying over the camera like a cartoon character.
Cricket? Nobody understands cricket. You gotta know what a crumpet is to understand cricket. I'll teach you.
The end of the movie is Splinter and the Turtles defeat Shredder, and Splinter's hanging him off a building like, "You can still be redeemed, Shredder." And Shredder's like, "I would rather die." And then he breaks him off, and Splinter's like, "Oh!" And then Shredder falls down from the rooftop into the back of a garbage truck, and Casey walks up to the side of it like a cartoon character and goes, "Whoops," and hits the compact button and kills Shredder like a JoJo's villain. There's a scene quite infamous where the turtles show up at April's doorstep like sad puppies, and Leonardo says, "Splinter." But I don't want to paint this movie as just like a really funny thing in its entire runtime, because the budget seemed to be there. There's a lot of genuinely impressive sets. The atmosphere was crazy. The Turtles' lair looked amazing. Shredder's whole hideout was incredible. On the topic of Shredder, his plan in this movie kind of blows for Shredder. So obviously Shredder's the leader of the Foot Clan, so he's gonna have a bunch of goons, but his goons in this one are a bunch of teenagers that he's getting to steal shit so that more crime happens. And he's essentially just getting these teenagers to help him out by being like, yeah, you can come down here and smoke cigarettes and skateboard, but you have to steal shit from me. It's just weird. He kind of has like a Craven thing from Spider-Man 2 going on, where like he's like apparently this super badass, you can't even touch him guy, but he never fights. He just sends everyone else to do the fighting. And I mean, when he does fight, it's really cool because he just lays all the turtles out flat, which also looks really funny because they're in silly costumes. But then the turtles realize that they can't fight one by one. They have to work together. Get used to hearing that. I can't just sing praises about this movie forever though, because it does have some problems that I, as a turtle fan, take very big issue with. Donatello and Michelangelo are the same character in this movie. Michelangelo is supposed to be the funny one, I get it, but the other really cool aspect about his character is he has a lot of heart. He assumes the best in everyone all the time. He's sweet and young. Donatello is obviously the smart one, but you could also take it as more pragmatic instead of just, according to my calculations. But in this movie, Donnie doesn't even really get to be a loser like that. I mean, he helps Casey fix a truck or whatever, but I don't care. Splinter's done pretty cool. He has this scene where he helps out the kid, and he's just like hung up, like crucified by Shredder, and the kid's like, "You can talk," and he's like, "You seem bothered. What's going on, kid?" And like, I think that's cool. I like when Splinter puts himself behind everybody else. He has a very strong sense of justice. That's what I like about him. It's pretty cool. April's April. I don't really think they knew how to write women back then. Casey's really funny. Casey's the best part of this movie by far. He has so many... Every scene with him in it is just stolen by him. He's so fucking funny. But I think that about covers my thoughts on at least the first entry. As you can probably tell, we're gonna be here for a while. So let's get on with it. The first one gets a 7 out of 10. It's really fun. Watch it with your friends. The second movie's a weird one because the first half of it is really boring, and it's originally where I dropped this because I just couldn't get past it. But the second half, when me and Blazer FSB got to it, we loved it. It was really funny. It's weird because it opens really strong. They have this kid delivering pizza. The opening shot is, look, here's a big panning shot of every character, every human being in New York enjoying a fat slice of pizza. It's drippy, it's cheesy, everyone's eating plain or pepperoni only. And then this kid who's going to deliver pizza like hits on this girl, and she's like, "You're too young for me," and he's like, "Yeah, well, you're fat," and then he drives away, and then he goes down into like this mall thing. Oh my god, the Foot Clan are there and they're doing shit or whatever, and the kid's like, "I know karate," and then he just beats up 2 of them, and then more of them come, and he's like, "I don't know that much karate," and then he runs away. But then all 4 of the turtles show up, and they look way worse, but it's okay because they look funnier. They start beating up the Foot Clan in like the funniest way possible. I'm serious, go look up the first scene of the second movie. It's so funny. Even though they're all really funny in this movie though, they all kind of refuse to use their weapons like at all. There's a scene later where Leo, Donnie, and Mikey are like strung up in a net, and they're getting slowly moved by a crane for a scene that goes on for like a minute and a half, and they're like, "Oh, how are we gonna get out of here? No, we're like turtles on our backs or something." But Leo just like doesn't, you know, swords on his back. I don't know. Another problem with this movie is Casey's not in it. The fuck? Raph also is like more annoying in this one because he's being unreasonable, and then Leonardo's unreasonable back, and you as a viewer are like, "Oh man, oh, why can't these brothers get along?" But me as a viewer, I'm like, they're mischaracterizing the funny little green things. I don't like when Leonardo's a dick. He's supposed to be headstrong. He's not supposed to be a dick. He's not supposed to be like a oh, we don't need you, we don't need you. That's gonna come up later. But I also really don't like I said earlier, Donatello's just the smart one, Mikey's the funny one. I hate when they just make Raphael the angry one. I don't like that. I don't like that one bit. So he gets angry and he storms off, and Leo's like, we're better off without you. We don't even need you. Which, don't ever make Leonardo say that, ever. I don't make him say that. What? But then once Raph gets separated from the turtles, he just like forgets how to be a ninja. Like, he's just walking around in broad daylight with this stupid smile on his face, like. And then the kid from earlier is like, what are you doing? You're gonna get caught. And he's like, relax, it's New York. Which, fair. In this movie, Shredder is alive for some reason, and I guess getting stuck in the trash compactor made his costume look way worse. So he's like, oh, if you can't beat them, join them. So he uses ooze on some animals he found to make enemies. And you would think, oh, Bebop and Rocksteady, right? But no, it's Toka and Raz are iconic turtle characters that everyone goes to the movies to see. Toka and Raz are really funny because they're babies, and Shredder goes, they're babies, you know the scene. But they're pretty funny to watch. The costumes also don't look that bad. Shredder's final gambit to get everyone in one place is really funny too. So here's the setup. Shredder unleashes Toka and Razar to just fuck up a whole block, like flipping over cars, punching walls and shit. And then, of course, you know, the news reports on it, and April's there. And April's, like, new assistant character is, like, an undercover Foot Clan person. So he, like, fucking grabs her and runs into an alley and is like, hey, we know you know the turtles. So tell them to come to this place, and we're gonna fight them. And of course the turtles do it. All the turtles pull up to this abandoned building. It's an abandoned building, right? That's a very important. It's the abandoned building. When they walk into the middle of it, all the Foot Clan crowd around this huge area, and it turns into like a gladiator coliseum. And then Shredder's like, get them, Toka and Razar are my right hands. And so Toka and Razar come out, and they fight for a little bit. Again, they're allergic to using their weapons, so the turtles are just punching these fucking 8-foot abominations for no reason. But then things get a little too rowdy, and Toka, or Razar, I forget, starts charging at him, and he grabs one, he tackles him through a wall, and over on the other side of the wall, a Vanilla Ice concert is happening that we didn't hear at all for some reason. So then the turtles beat all the Foot Clan and Toka and Razar perfectly while Vanilla Ice is singing the song in the background. You've seen it, you know what it is. But then Shredder gets up on stage and is like, enough, I've had enough of this. And then he's like, this is the ooze, you need it for some reason. And then April's like, okay. And then she breaks it, and it gets all over Shredder, and he's like, oh! And he runs out back. And then all the turtles follow him. And it turns out he's Super Shredder, and it made his costume better. And then he kills himself. And the movie ends. So yeah, this one's not as good, but it's a way funnier. So I guess it's like a 5, 6? 5.5? 5.5. 5.5. Alright, I'm gonna make this quick. This one sucks. It's hard to put into words exactly why it sucks, because it's just really boring. The turtles have to switch through time, so they all four go back to the past. And you're thinking like, oh, this will be interesting, you know, they're back in like feudal Japan or something. But it's not, because the main villain is just an arms dealer from England, and he's an evil guy. There's not even much to this movie. There's like 3 good scenes. It's not funny. Casey's back in this one, and the guys that the turtles switch through time with, they're in the future, and Casey's getting them hooked on shit like Coco Melon and like, you know, Blue's Clues. There's a part at the end of the movie where he takes them to like a casino, and he turns them into like gambling addicts, and then he's like, guys, we gotta go. And they're like, I like it here. And he's like, no, we gotta go. And then as they're switching back, this guy hugs him and he goes like, Casey-san, Casey-san. And it's really, that's pretty much the only funny part of the whole movie. It's just boring. Raphael makes really funny faces. Oh yeah, they look fucking awful in this one, by the way. Like, the suits just look so bad. I don't know why. It's obscene. Michelangelo gets abducted by this rebellion group, I think it is, and then some guy who looks exactly like Casey sells them out. Michelangelo falls in love with like the resistance leader. It's this woman, and he's like, oh, she's so gorgeous. And Raphael takes a liking to like this resistance kid. His name is Yoshi, and he makes these stupid faces at him, and he's like, hey, Yoshi man. So that's pretty cool. During the whole final battle, everyone the turtles fight just become really stupid, and they just like fumble over themselves. They're like, whoops, whoops, oh, I'm a trained samurai warrior, oops. It's just not a fun watch. Here, look, I'll break down the ending for you, okay, so you don't have to watch it. So everything's over. The turtles are they save the day, and the ending's happening, and they're gonna all switch back. And Michelangelo's like, duh, but I don't want to switch back. I want to stay here with my new awesome Japanese girlfriend. And Raphael's like, yeah, we don't have to hide like moles. And like, it makes sense for Raph, but Mikey's just a freak for some reason. And then Raph's like, you know what? Maybe we should get out of here. And then he stands over by the other ones. They're gonna switch back. And then Michelangelo's like, what do I do? And then Donnie and Leo start yelling at him like, dude, what the fuck? Come on, let's get out of here. You're our brother. We're not going back without you. And he's like, oh, maybe I should. I'm sorry. I love you. And, you know, he says his goodbyes. But then Yoshi from earlier walks in, and Raph's like, hey, Yoshi, man. And he walks up to him and has this whole goodbye moment for like 2 minutes. And like, apparently we had like 10 seconds to switch back, but like they're just waiting for him, I guess. Raph has this goodbye. He's like, you stay strong, Yoshi. And he hugs him and he walks back. But Michelangelo still hasn't moved. And they're like, come on, Mikey, let's go. And he's like, damn this thing called fate. And then he starts running back. The switch happens. And Leo, Donnie, and Raph are here. But Mikey isn't. And that guy who looks like Casey from earlier is there. And they're like, what? Huh? Get him! And then he like starts climbing up the stairs, and then up on the top of the manhole you see this flash happen, and then Michelangelo comes down and he's like, oh, I was foolish. And then the 3 other turtles come in from the left and start emote attacking him. I don't know. This one sucks. It's like a 2. So I need to just get this out of the way. When I was talking earlier about the turtles being a big part of my life for as long as I can remember, this one is why. I had TMNT 2007 action figures. I had at least 2 of each turtle. I had all the Stone Generals. I even had the fucking Patrick Stewart character. I had Casey, April, some random nothing monsters, nothing. I had the bed sheets. I had the DS game. I had the Xbox 360 game. I had the GameCube game. I had the Wii Smash spin-off. Whenever I think of any of the 4 turtles, these are usually the go-to ones in my mind. But this movie sucks. It was really hard to watch it with Blazer FGC and realize that it doesn't hold up. It has the same problem that the last one did, where the turtles are in this situation, but it doesn't care about the turtles being there. The setup for this movie is Leonardo has been away for 5 years, and the other 3 and Splinter have to hold down the fort without him. Michelangelo's gone into like the entertainment business. He has like a funny hat he puts on. Donatello's a tech support guy. That's cute. That's good. Those are both very good character things for them. They don't hold a candle to Raphael taking up the mantle of the Night Watcher. He is now a crime-fighting vigilante that uses chains and dresses crazy, and he looks so cool. and it's just such a cool thing to do. I learned that there was like a prequel comic that I read for this movie, and it shows that Raphael was like killing people and shit, and then this guy who was the Night Watcher like got like stabbed in his home, and Raphael was like, I'm gonna save you, I'm gonna help you, and he's like, no, just take my fucking cool armor that fits you because you're a turtle for some reason, and go be the Night Watcher. I don't know. It's cool. There's a lot of really cool stories in that comic that shows what Leonardo learned and everything. But the movie doesn't. I talked earlier about how Raphael, Donatello, and Michelangelo are perfect in this movie. The casting is perfect. Nolan North as Raphael, whoever decided that, needs a Nobel Peace Prize. That is the most perfect casting. Seeing the ways, like, just those, any of the turtles, even including Leonardo, the way they bounce off of each other, it's so good.
Well, I know that your rogue attitude has always been a source of contention to this team. You think fear is the best way to accomplish things, but you're wrong.
First of all, this team you speak of doesn't exist anymore. And second of all, Raphael.
These are perfect iterations of them, except for Leonardo. Leonardo is like, I think it's time to go home. And he comes home, and him and Raph have a rocky reunion. Mikey and Donnie are like, Leo! And they're so happy to see him. And I think that's fine at first to have Leo and Raph butt heads at first, of course. Raph's mad that Leo's been gone for so long, and now he's back, and he gets to be the leader still. Sure, like, you can, like, that's a fine plot thread. Move on it, we'll see what happens. But it just keeps going, and then it comes to a head. Leo and Raph are in this fight, and after this 5 years, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, Leo was on a spiritual journey to discover himself for 5 years. He comes back, fights Raphael, and then says, I'm better than you. He shouldn't fucking do that. I don't know whose decision it was to make Leonardo a dick in this one, but it pisses me off because they were almost perfect, and then they had Leonardo just be an asshole. Sure, okay. If it's a younger Leonardo, if this was like the like origin movie, and like Leo was just propped up as the leader because he followed the rules the best, and that's why Raphael was butting heads with him, and he was like, well, I'm better than you because I follow Splinter's orders. That's fine. But no, that didn't happen. This is a Leonardo who was on a spiritual journey for 5 fucking years. It's just so depressing. There's a lot of good jokes. All the action's really fun. But it just doesn't matter because the turtles account for maybe like 30% of screen time in this movie. Thinking back on it, this movie's like a 5, 6, 7. This movie's like a 6. It sucks because I really love this one, but it sucks. Okay, so the next one's Turtles Forever, and I'm not really too opinionated on this one. It's a fun watch. It's a crossover of the original 80s cartoon and the, at the time, ongoing 2003 4Kids cartoon, before multiverse stuff was a big thing, and bringing back old shit was the popular thing to do. It's fun. It has a lot of stuff going on. I think Shredder is hilarious. I think all the 80s characters are just really funny in this one. All the 80s turtles are just so goofballs, but they don't have the same voices because rights or something, probably. Shredder's plan in this one is the new Shredder, the current Shredder, is like, oh, turtles, fucking hate them. So he's gonna get rid of all the turtles, but he realizes that no matter what universe he goes to, there's turtles everywhere. And that's always going to be her problem. So he's going to go back to the original universe, Turtle Prime. He's going to kill the Prime Turtles from the original comics. That's a really cute idea. There's a lot of like nods to stuff other than just the cartoons. I think that's fun. When we get back to the Turtle Prime universe, Leonardo is voiced by... Am I a fraud? Why am I forgetting his name? Am I a fraud? Who's the... Jason Griffith. Jason Griffith. He's voiced by Jason Griffith because they're on 4Kids and Sonic X. Jason Griffith. He's voiced by Jason Griffith doing a Shadow the Hedgehog voice.
What is this? 8 wannabes.
On our turf?
Trying to steal our act.
The original Turtles are very played up as like hard and grizzled and rawr and like that. And I think that's funny because they are. It works really well in contrast with the current Turtles. It's just a fun movie. It's not really a feature movie or anything, but I wanted to include it because I wanted to have something to watch before I had to watch the next ones. Okay, so full disclosure, I wrote the script for basically all of these back in December, and I'm just skimming through them to get my thoughts back on the movies, and that's why, if I've been a little scatterbrained, it's been that way. But it also made me forget that there's actually 10 movies and not 9. Oops. So let's clear something up really quick. Michael Bay didn't create these. He just produced them. There's other people to get mad at for why this movie exists. This movie is offensive. April is just Megan Fox playing Megan Fox. She just talks to everybody like they're not even fucking there. The Turtles look horrendous. Everyone knows they look horrendous. But also, instead of being like, oh, they're misunderstood and like, you know, playing that whole angle, they're ugly as fuck with a heart of gold. No, they're just played like villains. So they don't show up for the first 20 minutes and then they beat the fuck out of everybody. And then they realize April took a picture of them. So they scare her and then she passes out and then Donnie clears it off her phone. And then he's like, yep, it should be good. And then Leo's like, and we'll fucking know. We'll fucking know. Just don't you go posting that online anywhere. And then they run away, and then she takes another picture of them because they're fucking stupid. Michelangelo is especially bad in this one because the first thing you hear him say is, dude, my shell is tightening. Because, holy smokes, it's Megan Fox. And that's annoying. I don't like thinking about that at all. God, they're ugly. God, they are just ugly in this one. Raphael has this, like, weird thing happen where he has to step up and save everyone. And at the end, he's like, Leo, lead us. But I don't know why, because there was no character arc, so I don't know where the fuck that's coming from. Splinter's pretty funny in this one. He's just funny looking. I gotta say, as much as I don't like how they look, the mocapping for the Turtles is done very well. There's this one scene where they go out to fight the Foot, and then Splinter's fucking with them because he's like, oh, you guys have to tell me what's going on. And they're all like doing like weird, like, they're like doing handstands on fucking corner balance chairs. And he's like fucking with them. He's like whipping them with his tail and shit. And then he brings out a big pizza and he's like, oh, Michelangelo, you're the pizza one. Don't you want this? But then he gets killed by the Shredder, who also looks terrible. He looks like Megatron from the Michael Bay Transformers. He has magnetic fucking blades and shit. He fights like he's in a big suit of armor instead of just being a ninja guy. He was very clearly supposed to be like the white guy villain from the movie, but then they realized that people would be mad if the white guy was the Shredder, so they dubbed all his lines in post. It's pretty bad, but it ends, again, you're not going to believe this, it ends with them all realizing that they should stop attacking Shredder one by one, and they should all team up and hit him with coordinated attacks because there's 4 of them. I guess something I didn't mention that I should bring up is that the action in this movie is really kinetic and fun. There's this one cool scene where they're all escaping and they're all sliding down this hill and they're like using their shells and like hijacking cars from dudes and like jumping from car to car, And there's this one scene where Donatello like takes his staff and he prods it to like stop himself and also send a car like careening over him, and then like he uses the staff to like swing Raph like back and forth and pick up momentum and like swing him up in a cart. And that is really cool. Whoever did the action for this movie, spot on. I just wish the turtles didn't look like that. 3 out of 10. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows is dog shit. This is definitely going to be one of the shortest sections of this video, but I just wanted to point out that I said something here in my script when I was reading back to it. I'm writing this a day after watching it, and I already forget like 60% of the movie. So the final battle switches between April, Casey, and the Turtles fights, and I swear to God, they just like had these 3 scenes and were like, oh wait, we can't just have scenes happen like this. So they just start cutting random pieces and just like placing them together like they're shuffling a fucking deck of cards. It's insane. This movie sucks. Bebop and Rocksteady are really funny. They're the only things I was looking forward to literally the entire time.
Hey, I've been asking this, Rock. Do I look fat to you?
Fat? Oh, no, buddy, no. You look really fat. The belly must be jelly. The John don't shake like that. My man.
No, my man.
Krang is awful looking, but I think that's the point, so whatever. There's this subplot about how Donnie finds ooze that could turn them human. His fingers go like, we could be human. So Leo's like, don't tell the other 2 about this. And then they have like a big fight about it, and Raph is like, you have to tell us these things, man. And then he runs off, and then Mikey's like, what did I do? They just reconcile, and Krang comes in, and then they go to the surface to help Casey Jones, who he's a cop in this one, he fucking sucks. To help Casey Jones, like, he's like, these are my friends, they're good people. So while Krang is like magnetizing the whole city into like this big orb thing, Technodrome, by the way, did you know the 80s cartoon exists? They have this police brigade covering the turtles so that they can get from the sewer to like strategize and coordinate, which like I don't think anyone's looking at the fucking street to see these turtles, but apparently there's like crowds or whatever. The ending is the police chief lady gives them keys to the city, and she's like, you know, you 4 could live up here, have a normal life. And like, no, they couldn't, first of all. But then Raph's like, nah, that'd be boring. I don't know when that happened. At some point, I think Leo gave him like the purple ooze before they reconciled, and Leo gave him the purple ooze, and he's like, the stuff that turns them into humans, and he's like, it's your call, man. And then Raph takes it, and he's like, and it's a really slow-mo thing. He shatters it on the ground. I don't know why he did that. I watched the movie, and I don't know why he did that. Yeah, this one sucks. That one annoying Turtles account on Twitter gasses it up a lot and says it's way better than the first one, but it sucks. It's like a 1. So our next movie is Batman vs. the TMNT, and I've never seen this one before, so I really didn't know what to expect, and I was really, really pleasantly surprised. I'm gonna go over a few things I had a problem with first, just because I don't think they're really that significant. One of my biggest problems was, I don't know if this is just a DC animated thing, but every joke or like every line just had like a second of blank space after it. It just made everything feel really stilted. I don't really know what was going on with that. Another thing is I think Blazer GD like tricked me into thinking that every single Raphael voice needs to be like New York accent, like heavy on it, because when I hear him and he just sounds like a dumb brute, it doesn't sound right to me. Also, the final action sequence before the actual like fighting is just kind of like dumb. Like they're driving their cars and blowing stuff up for like 5 minutes, and that's kind of uninteresting, but it wasn't the worst thing in the world. The things I really liked about the movie, I really liked. All the turtles bounced off each other really well. Batman was portrayed correctly in this one from what I hear. Stuff about Batman is definitely a lot more Blazer BR's territory. so I don't really know how much I can talk on here, but he has this section where he spars with Leonardo. He beats him, but he's like, "You're disciplined well. Your father must have taught you really well." It's like, oh, that's cool, because he values family a lot, and he's like, you know, I'm seeing that he's like valuing family, and he's not just brooding the whole time. He like interacts with the turtles like they're people. Another thing they do that I really like is they actually cross over the worlds. Like, the movie starts with Batman doing hand-to-hand with the Shredder, and the TMNT fighting the Penguin, which is fun. Shredder and Ra's al Ghul have to like distract the heroes for a bit, so they go to Arkham Asylum and they mutate everybody. Joker becomes like a snake, and like Mr. Freeze becomes a polar bear, and Scarecrow just becomes an actual crow. There's a lot of really fun stuff. They split up into groups and go off, and they have their own little fights, and it's really cute. It's like they're playing Lethal Company. The actual ending is fun too. They all like have really satisfying hand-to-hand combat. Leonardo defeats Ra's al Ghul, Batman defeats Shredder, and here's something very important. Donatello and Michelangelo do something significant. This is not something I could say for almost every single other movie on this list. Even the ones I like. One of the two villains, I forget exactly which one does it, but they break Donatello's arm, and he's like, ooh, and he can't do machines, so he's trying to stop the machine with one hand, and then Mikey comes over, and he's like, duh, what do I do? What do I do? And they go up, and they have to stop it alone, and it's like Donatello trying to be like, Mike, you have to do this and this, and he's like, I don't know what I'm doing, and it's fun. It's fun. It's like, wow, that's something unique to give them to do, instead of just, here, fight the like lesser villains. The movie also ends with
All right, guys, let's go home.
Wait. You can't leave now. It's pizza time.
That's fun. It's a fun time. It's probably one of the better movies on this entire list. Easy 8 out of 10. I just like it a lot. Now we're on to Rise, the Rise movie, and I just read my notes, and all I did was gush for like 5 pages. So I'm gonna shorten that down a bit. This movie was so fucking good. Everything, there's so much passion poured into it. All 4 of the turtles are very significant in ways that matter, unique to them. Go figure, it's not that hard. I'm not gonna put a single clip from the final battle on here. I highly recommend that you just watch this movie. It is so good. I have only seen like 3 of the Rise episodes from the actual series, and they were like the episodic, like cartoon scenario ones. They weren't even anything special. And when I tell you that I thoroughly enjoyed this more than any of the other movies like yet, dude, this movie's so fucking good. Please just watch it. I have a few problems to make Leo a bit of a cockhead in this one, and it sucks because he just doesn't learn his lesson for a while. But he gets over it. They get over it eventually. He learns his lesson in a natural way, and things make sense for him. And there's no characters who just make this jump in logic where at the end Raph or Leo is like, hey man, I'm sorry. You don't even have to say it, brother. The fucking animation, Jesus Christ. I mean, I know everyone says like Rise is the good looking one, but dude, no one told me that every ounce of it was this oozing with fucking love. I thought it was going to be more like One Piece, where it's like 20-minute generic anime episode, whatever, and then like 4-minute like clip of the best animation you've ever seen in your life. But no, it just looks like that the whole time. It's crazy. I really wish I had more to say about this, because it's so good that I feel like it should be one of the longer sections of the video, but I don't want to talk too much about it. I could gush about all of the characters for as long as I want to. I could gush about scenes that I still remember. I watched this movie like 6 months ago, and I still remember so many scenes vividly. It's so good. It's so good. Please watch it if you haven't. It's so good. 9.5. I don't know if I want to say 10. 9.5. And now we're at the end with Mutant Mayhem. I never wrote a script for this one. I'm gonna go off the hook. This movie's great. It looks amazing. The soundtrack is incredible. The ad-libs of the characters just getting their little words in every now and then. So good. Yes, it has some humor. It has some Zoomer humor. Oh man. He fucking said Attack on Titan. Did that guy just say Drake is the GOAT of all time? Wait, why are they twerking? This movie was made for the next generation of kids. People are gonna, they're kids who are gonna grow up watching this movie. It's allowed to have some humor that makes me, a 20-year-old person, kind of roll my eyes. That's fine. It's so good though. If Rise had every frame of animation oozing with love, this one has every single polygon on it, every model oozing with love. To me, this is just me. I grew up on TMNT. I grew up on these grungy characters, these weird aesthetics. So when Spider-Verse came out, I was like, oh, hey, it looks like a comic book. That's neat. When I see this, I'm like, oh my god, the fucking comic book is moving. Every human character looks ugly as shit, and it's so good. Every character looks ugly. All characters in this movie look like they look like bad models. It's perfect. There's so much heart and soul and love poured into this. Oh my god, I could go on forever. The fighting, oh my god. There's something I noticed on rewatch where every time the camera would pan really quickly to a different shot, the in-betweens would just be smears of color. Like someone painted the background like with like strokes of a specific color, and then took like a contrasting color and just took a paintbrush and just it's so beautiful. Every single frame of this movie could be a desktop background. It's so good. It's so good. I could gush about this movie for 10 more minutes if I really wanted to, but I don't think I want to. Everyone who likes this movie likes it. People who don't like it aren't going to turn around on it. This movie is for a new generation of fans, and that just makes me so happy. This movie, it's so special. It's so special. It's just so good. Easy 9, easy 9.5. Fucking probably a 10. Personally, we're talking me personally, it's like a 13. It's so good, dude.
TMNT, the video game.
Okay, I said I would rank all 10 of them, so I'm gonna. Number 10 is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows. This movie sucks. I hate it. It's bad, and I hate it. Number 9 is the first Michael Bay TMNT film. It's a little less bad. You can throw it up at like a party and your friends will like laugh at it sometimes if you want. Number 8 is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3 Turtles in Time. It's really boring. It's a hard watch. It's not even worth watching because it's bad. It's fucking not good. Number 7 is 2007's TMNT. This one hurts. I know I've gone on about why this hurts so much, but this movie is not interested in being a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. What are you gonna do? Number 6 is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, Secret of the Ooze. It's a lot of fun once it gets going. It's just fun. It's a lot of fun. There's nothing wrong with it. It's really funny. If I were to suggest you watch any of these movies for the purpose of laughing at it, this is the one I would suggest. It's really funny. Number 5 is Turtles Forever. It's a cute little movie. It's not even a full-length movie. It's a nice, fun little watch. It's nostalgic for me, personally. It's a good time. Number 4 is 1990s Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. The original TMNT movie is pretty good. This one, I would say, is probably the most like all-rounder in terms of like so bad it's funny, but also just good. Weirdly enough, this one's a fun time. I like it. Number 3 is Batman vs. the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I was not expecting to like this one that much, but it's a lot of fun. Batman's funny in it. They give all the turtles something to do. All the character work is good, and that's kind of all I'm watching these for. Number 2 is Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the movie. This movie is so good. I loved watching it. Please watch it. It's really good. And number 1 is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. I just got done gushing about this movie. I'm not going to do it again. It's pretty perfect. But yeah, that does it for me. Thank you so much for watching and sticking around this whole time if you did. This has been a passion project of mine that I have been putting off for over about almost 2 years now, probably, or no, just a year. And it feels good to finally be recording it. So I really hope that whoever you are watching this, you got some enjoyment out of it. I'd really appreciate any support you could show, just leaving a like or a comment or just subscribing, just to make me feel like I'm not just making these for myself, which I don't mind, but you know, it's nice to know that there's people out there who like the same things I do, I guess. If you have any thoughts, if you are the annoying bot TMNT account that I complained about earlier in the Out of the Shadows part, feel free to argue with me in the comments and tell me why I'm wrong and should kill myself. But yeah, that's pretty much all I had to say. So thank you so much for watching if you did. I hope you enjoyed it. Bye!